Thank you for listening to When Everything Cracks, a memoir of old San Francisco and the crazy, wonderful people who live there. At this point in the story, I'm still just not really believing that I'm on Earth. Things are just so confusing. I mean, if you've never been in a psychiatric hospital, which I hope some of the listeners have, so they understand what this is all about, it doesn't feel like Earth. It really does feel like somewhere else. So they didn't do a very good job of healing people because they keep them so separated from the Earth. But anyway, I digress. Here's Chapter 9, Loss of Time. I'm pretty sure I slept this time. Someone came in and undid my cuffs. I'm still on the table, but the room has changed. There are curtains suspended from metal tracks which hang from the ceiling surrounding my bed. I hear people talking in the distance. I think someone gave me a lobotomy. I feel for the scar, but nothing's there. My brain won't make any connections. It's taking everything I've got just to lay here and think this shit. I close my eyes and the world goes black for a while. When I open my eyes again, someone is shaking me. It's my dad. What is he doing here? I can't see him clearly because I don't have enough energy to focus my eyes. Hey there, how are you feeling? He asks me awkwardly. Summoning all the energy I can humanly muster, I open my mouth and say, yucky. Then I close my eyes. When I open them again, he's gone. Was he just a hallucination? I can't really tell. The curtains are drawn back by a dusky brown arm with a small brown fist with white palms. I can't turn my head to see who owns the arms, but then she fills the frame of my vision. She has metal-rimmed glasses and a kind smile. How are we feeling? Her voice is soft. Bad? Bad? Bad. Who are you? I'm Barbara. Do you want to come to the day room? The thought of lifting my legs is discouraging. No. No? Okay then. You missed breakfast. Do you want a snack to keep you until lunch? I turn my attention inward for a moment and discover that my stomach is growling. Yeah. She leaves the frame of my vision and I hear footsteps pattering down a hard linoleum hallway toward the source of food. Where the fuck am I? In a few moments, she returns with a plastic orange juice with a tight foil top and a packet of cheese and crackers. She reaches behind me. A motor purrs, and I feel myself swinging into a sitting position. My eyes won't move in their sockets. They're all dried out. I close my lids, and it feels like sandpaper. They start to water. This loosens the rust, and I can rotate them. I appear to be in a room made out of curtain fabric. I'm in a bed with metal railings and cheap acrylic blankets. The sheets are mostly polyester, and they slide across the plastic surface of the mattress as my weight shifts. I'm wearing a white gown flocked with little blue starbursts. She opens the top of the orange juice, and I hold the rough plastic edge to my lips. It cuts the corners of my mouth, and they sting as the acidic juice spills out on the sides. It tastes like diesel exhaust. I guess I'm still in space. The juice doesn't taste like juice back home. I can't make a tight enough grip to get the top of the cheese and crackers, so she does it for me. There you go. Who are you? Well, I'm Barbara Hall, your day nurse. I think she told me that before. You seem to be managing okay. I'll be just down the hall if you need me. Hall down the hall. It's some kind of code, and if I figure it out, this aching feeling in my legs and arms will go away, and my brain will stop hurting. I'll work on it in a minute. The cheese and crackers don't taste very nice. The salt from the crackers burns the edges of my mouth where the orange juice cup cut into them. I can't stand not knowing where I am. Mustering as much strength as I have, I swing my legs off the bed and rotate until I'm sitting up of my own accord. It feels like gravity's much stronger in this place. There are lots of voices beyond the curtain in the hall, as she called it. My feet have little foam slippers on them, just like in the place where I was dressed in orange, but now I'm dressed in blue. I wonder whether they'll let me wear green. I don't want to wear red. On the edge of the curtain there is a caduceus. 2 snakes climb a pole. One of the snakes was in me earlier. I reach out my hand and touch the snake, and it gives me energy. I take hold of the curtain and use it as a hand grip to get to my feet. My knees are wobbly, but I manage to stand with the snake energy as an aid. I peek my head through the curtain, and there's just a dimly lit room with a door that opens onto a hallway. I patter slowly toward the door, which is propped open with one of those rubber door jambs. Outside the door, there are many people dressed like me in blue flocked gowns. There are also people in regular clothing, corduroy, sweaters, sneakers. Barbara Hall is in the bunch. She's wearing a yellow sweater and wool gabardine slacks. Her clothing distinguishes her from the blue-clad masses. I can't see very well. My eyes are having trouble focusing. My head is throbbing, but it's not a headache. It feels very different. It's a thought ache. No one sees me. Maybe I'm invisible. There's a blinding flash, and now it's nighttime. I'm on the bed. The curtains are open. To my right there is a table on rollers. On the table is a rectangular chunk of plastic divided into two halves, one on top of the other. They look like they could be separated. I reach out with my right hand and feel the table. It's real. Why did I doubt myself? I pull the table to the bed and inspect the plastic. There's a piece of paper attached to the plastic. It's a green piece of paper with a drawing of a cornucopia on it. There are typed rows with names of different kinds of food. Somebody put circles around the food with a red pen. At the bottom of the paper is an aphorism. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. It seems harmless enough until I turn the paper over, and there is my name, my last name first. How did it get there? What are they trying to do to me? Underneath the top piece of plastic, there's cold food. It looks much better than the things they gave me in the containment facility. There's turkey with mashed potatoes and gravy. I touch the gravy. It's solid, like jam. They're trying to fool me into thinking this is Earth food. I inspect the food for any listening devices. There are tiny flecks that look like pepper on the potatoes. There are little microphones. I'm hungry. I scrape all the microphones off the potatoes, along with the solid lump of gravy-like goo. The potatoes taste like the kind that comes from a box. There are more microphones on the turkey. The gravy peels off like freshly dried paint from a mirror. The turkey is sliced very thin with no skin. It could just as well be made from soybeans. The texture is not like real turkey. It resembles the lunch meat turkey that comes in plastic pouches at the grocery store. I have no tangible proof that this is turkey. I'm so hungry that I really don't care at this point. If they're trying to torture me some more, putting poison in the turkey, I'm willing to find out. So far, so good. Maybe it's a slow-acting poison. There's another bright flash, and I'm lying in bed, but there are leather straps around my arms. Barbara, the nurse, is in my face. She appears to be reprimanding me. You can get out of these just as soon as you calm down, mister. What is she talking about? She's making me feel very angry. How did I get here? I want to go and eat my turkey. The straps are preventing me from leaving. I glare at Barbara. Why is she doing this to me? There's a glob of oatmeal on the curtain near me. A bowl lies upside down on the floor. A river of milk and melted butter runs from the bowl towards Barbara's feet. If she doesn't move, it's going to get on her patent leather shoes. I don't think I'll tell her. It's daylight outside. These flashes are getting irritating. Now I'm sitting down in a large room filled with other people in gowns. We're watching television. I'm standing at a counter. On the counter, there's a pile of tobacco and cigarette papers. Somebody nudges me from behind. Hey, Duncan, are you going to eat your lunch? Are you? I turn to see who nudged me. It's a tall boy with very closely cropped hair. His eyes are heavy-lidded. I realize that I can't really turn my head as easily as I just tried to do. My neck is very stiff. I have to twist my body back into position very slowly. Because I want your apple if you're not going to eat it. He can have my apple. He can have whatever he wants. He has a hand-poked tattoo of a smiley face on his forearm. He knows my name. Who is he? Who are you? Jimmy Simple. Damn, Duncan, you can't remember anything, can you? It's the meds. What have they got you on anyway? On? I don't know. I don't particularly remember being here. I have amnesia. As hard as I search my memory banks, I still can't remember what happened just before this. There's a double-paned window at the end of the countertop. I can see the skyline of San Francisco out the window. It looks like a shadow box, something they manufactured to make me feel more at home. Jimmy Simple is really cute. He can't stand still. He keeps hopping up and down on one foot and then another. Sometimes he makes little whooshing noises. What are you doing? He looks at me with a duh stare. I'm skating. They won't let me on my skateboard in here, so I'm just practicing. Ollies, grinds, and tic-tacs, you know. Duncan, you have a visitor. A male nurse appears out of nowhere. How does he know who I am? I turn around and there's my mother. What in the fuck is she doing here? Duncan! She rushes forward and smothers me. The nurse clears his throat. Sorry, ma'am. Please obey the rules. She pulls back enough so I can see him pointing to a sign that reads no touching. How molecular. I feel like an electron. My mother turns to the nurse and lets out a vicious snarl. What do you mean I can't touch my own son? Rules are rules. She refuses to let me go. She's clutching me so tightly that I'm having difficulty breathing. Mom, let me go. I can't breathe. A tall black man approaches us. His name tag says Lester in white letters on a black plastic background. What seems to be the problem here? Are we having trouble obeying the rules? We, snaps my mother, are hugging our son. I'm going to have to ask you to refrain from touching him, ma'am. You're disturbing the other patients. There's a small crowd gathering. Let me go, Mom. She shoves me away from her. There's a look of wild desperation in her eyes. She looks like she's been crying for 10 years. She has gray hairs on her temples. How many years have gone by? Now I know the view out the window is fake because Mom is in Vermont. How can I see San Francisco out the window if she's in Vermont? She's an android. You're not real. My mother's in Vermont. Honey, I flew out here. Your grandmother called me and told me what happened. About the abduction? You were arrested. I can't take any more of this. Barbara comes by and sticks her smiling face into our discussion. Hi, how are we feeling? Don't patronize him. Barbara frowns at my mother's remark. This is fun. They must not have realized what they were getting into when they replicated her from my chromosomes. She's a raving bitch, and now they have to deal with her. It's time for your meds. She hands me a small glass of orange juice. This is what's making me feel so shitty. Every time I drink it, I forget what happens. No thanks. Barbara insists. You have to take them, Duncan. No, they make me sick. Honey, they're going to make you well. This coming from Miss Natural, my mother, strikes me as more than a bit shocking. It's poison, Mom. I can't. That's the last thing I remember. Now I'm in a different room with lots of other beds. There are little blue jugs resting on rolling tables. Jimmy Simple is asleep across from me. It seems to be dawn. My face itches, and when I touch it, I realize I've grown a beard. Ick. I hate beards. I lift my body, with great difficulty, into an upright position. Jimmy Simple is snoring. He looks so cute lying there with a little puddle of drool on his pillow. I wish I knew why they were keeping me here. I'm really of no service to anyone. I can't do my photography here. I can't do much of anything. I get a little memory flash, and it tells me that the bathroom is down the hall. I have morning wood, but no one is around to see it. I tiptoe down the hallway to the bathroom, using the handrail on the wall for support. When I open the door to the bathroom, the mirror greets me. What a shock. All my long, beautiful black hair is gone. Someone gave me a haircut, and the beard looks awful. I look homeless. I am homeless. Where am I? What the fuck is going on? I think it's been a long time since I drank any of the sour orange juice that wipes out my memory banks. What was I doing before I got here? I was going to be president. They gave me an ID, which looked like a dollar bill, and the phone company put me in a jail. I guess they want me to be a doctor, so they put me here to study medicine. That makes sense. A doctor. Won't my grandmother be happy? I'm going to be a doctor, because I know where it's at. I flush the toilet and watch the yellow piss water swirl away. My next task is to get rid of this lousy beard. I hate what I see in the mirror. I'm one ugly motherfucker. Outside the bathroom is a dry erase board with lots of names running vertically down the side with numbers across the top. It's a calendar of some kind. The last column is the most interesting. It contains comments. In my comment box, it reads, Haldol, 25 mg BID, apt with vial 617. There's a dry erase marker dangling by a string. I uncap it and write in the remaining space in my comment box, I know where it's at. I replace the cap and return to my bed. As I pull the covers over me, I hear a rustling sound. It's Jimmy Simple. I turn my head and look over at him. He's staring at me. Hey. Hi. I wonder what he wants. Duncan, can I have your orange juice at breakfast if you're not going to drink it? Yeah, sure. The word breakfast has no meaning in this place. It's such an earth word. What am I doing here? I want to die, I think. Duncan, what are you thinking about? I want to die. Don't tell them. They'll keep you here forever. He turns his back to me and starts to snore. Who the fuck are they? How are they keeping me in this place? What is this place? I'll ask Barbara when she gets here. I close my eyes, and for the first time in a very long time, I feel the sensation of going to sleep. I open my eyes, and the sun is streaming through the windows. There's a commotion in the next room over. I pitter-patter down the hallway in my gown toward the sound. It's a bunch of people sitting at tables, eating breakfast food from the plastic containers. A man in a dazzling white hat, matching pants, and a very black face sees me. Name? Duncan. Here you go, man. He hands me a plastic tray with my name on it, just like the other tray before. But inside, there's breakfast. Scrambled eggs with sausage and potatoes, sort of. I sit down at a table by myself and poke at the sausage. It seems real enough. A plastic spork is inside a plastic bag with a napkin and salt and pepper, just like back in elementary school. The spork breaks when I try to poke it through the plastic. I manage to get the plastic open. With the broken off remains of the spoon area, I scoop up a bit of egg and put it in my mouth. It tastes like it was made in a replicator. The texture is like a very worn-out sponge that has been soaking in dishwater for a week. One of the tines must have fallen into the egg, and it lodges itself between two molars. I reach in and pull it out. My gums are bleeding. Jimmy Simple sees me from across the room, picks up his tray, and heads over to my table. He sits down with me. So, can I have your orange juice? Yeah. I hand him the plastic cup with the foil covering. He's genuinely thrilled to have it. Duncan, you're so nice. Why are you so nice? Same reason you are. He thinks about that for a while. The sausage tastes good, if not a bit salty. I feel pretty good right now. It's as if I have my brain back on a temporary loan from the folks who took it. Meds, med time. There's a crier out in the hall announcing the arrival of the cups of orange juice, the small ones without the foil. People place their plastic trays on their cart and shuffle towards the cups. That's why I feel so good. I haven't had my little cup of orange juice yet. I wonder if there's some way I can avoid it. My breakfast is not finished. I'll just stay here and finish up. Maybe they won't notice if I don't have any. It's easier to eat the egg sponge stuff with my fingers, so I do. Barbara pokes her head into the breakfast room. There you are. It's med time. Thank you. I won't be having any. I'm afraid you have to, Duncan. If I argue any more with her, she's going to do something awful to me. I think I'll just follow orders for now until I can devise a plan to get out of all this. I don't feel particularly strong at the moment. I'm having trouble keeping my thoughts glued to my head. They just fly out and flutter away, pages torn from a notebook. The wind is inside my head, blowing me out to sea. Barbara is approaching me with the tiny cup. She holds it out toward me. What is my plan? I can't have this stuff. It's making me weak. So I knock the cup out of her hand. If you've listened this far, I know you're enjoying the podcast, so why don't you share it with a friend? Click that little funny box with an arrow if you're listening on a phone, or the share button, whatever you find, and share it with friends, your social media circles, anybody you think that might benefit from hearing this crazy but wonderful story.